I'm Addy Thomas.
And I'm Ben Milton.
Hey, we are Batty.
We are one.
How you doing, buddy?
Good.
Batty, buddy.
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah.
How are you?
Good, good. It sounds like we've got a movie-packed episode today.
Yeah.
It's not unusual for us to talk movie and TV, but...
Turn your light on for me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, I guess that would be a good thing. I'm
Be
a dark
great thing.
person.
There you go. Now you
Yeah.
look pretty.
Aw.
Aw.
Aw. Yeah, so we had May the 4th this past week,
Big holiday.
right? Yeah.
Lot of fun.
I got the best and biggest eye roll from J-Mike when I told him, I think it was Wednesday before May the 4th on the 3rd. I was on the elevator when we were going to work, and I said, oh, I'm taking off tomorrow. It's a religious holiday. And he's like, what's going on tomorrow? And I was like, it's May the 4th. And I just got the biggest eye roll from him. I was so proud of that.
Hilarious.
I think there was someone else on the elevator, too,
hilarious.
that may have eye rolled at that one, too. So, but I was so proud of that moment.
Oh, my goodness. Why would he eye roll? Like, that's like an obvious thing for us.
I know, right? But it feels like, you know what's nice is there are not a lot of holidays after, like, from Easter till, like, I guess, like there's a gap in holidays for at work between basically February and, like, the end of May, right? Like, throughout the rest of the year, there's, like, almost every month there's, like, one day off, right? But there isn't anything in that spring gap right there, right? So 420 comes at a perfect time. Our birthdays come at a perfect time. And then May the 4th comes at the perfect time. So
like
we
boom,
kind of
boom,
have
boom.
we
Like a
kind of have our own
trilogy.
built-in. Yeah, right. It's our personal trilogy. It's our origin. It's a little bit of our,
little
finding
history.
ourselves at 420, and then like a little bit of like thematic fulfillment in May the
In Star
4th.
Wars, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
I dig it.
I like it.
I dig it. Well, we'll go with that. We'll pretend that's true.
Yeah. It's our personal trilogy.
I love it.
It works out. You can assign meaning to any pattern as long as you create a pattern,
Right?
right? It's not like is the meaning inherent, or is it just the pattern that creates the meaning?
Who can tell?
So exactly.
Who can tell?
Right? These are questions for 420. So
Oh, man. So what have you been up to this week?
busy. My mom's a huge royal head. So this was.
Here's me rolling my eyes.
Oh, I know. Trust me, I was not enthused. But I mean, that's one of the. I think for her though, a lot of it is like, so she was born like maybe the year before Queen Elizabeth was became queen. So like her entire life, like the Queen's been a thing, and it's always been like the India for a long time. I don't know if they still are, but they've been a part of the Commonwealth. I think Sri Lanka is still a part of the Commonwealth. So like there is that connection
Okay.
with the monarchy, and my mom's family is a little bit wealthier, so I think they're part of they would be part of the people that may have benefited a little bit more.
The aristocracy.
Right, exactly. Like one of my aunts is like they've got like a whole like legion of servants and drivers that
Wow.
live with them type of thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. Some of them
They're
are
middle class.
Yeah, right. So like I think there may
Did
have
you
been,
watch it?
well, unfortunately, because my mom was like she wanted me, watch every little bit of it. So, I mean, like I've gotten used to it because all the royal shit is that way for her, like the Queen's funeral, the Philip's funeral, anything to do with Diana. She hates Meghan Markle.
I do too.
Yeah. Well,
We have a lot in common.
I'm not crazy about her either. So, but yeah, it's really interesting to see. Like, I think a lot of it is also like the familiarity of home, because like so much of the architecture is similar because of everything that the British did build, especially in Sri Lanka and a little bit in India as well. But like there's some like my mom went to finishing school and everything, so all that like etiquette and everything is like all in her wheelhouse and
Oh, okay.
everything. So like for her, all that stuff is like very like like
It means
parties
something
and
to her.
presentation. Yeah, all of that is a big deal for her.
That's cool.
So
Well,
I
good.
guess.
I hope she liked it.
Oh yeah, no, she was very, very excited about it. Which because it's funny because like whenever you talk about like King Charles, usually like he's usually the villain in the story because of like how much everybody loves Diana. So like this was sort of a rare moment to kind of see him portrayed a little bit more. With a bit more of a human touch. I don't know if that's the right, maybe the right word, but yeah.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah. So there's that. So
Cool.
yeah. So that was a lot of this weekend.
All right. Well, you had a good time.
To this weekend. No, couldn't have been more bored.
We had a good weekend. Jenny and I just hung out at home.
Yeah.
And just chilled.
Nice.
And just hung out with each other and spent the day together on Sunday, and it was glorious.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. Yeah. So it was good. We
Yeah.
just had a nice, relaxing weekend. Like
That's
I've just
good.
been trying to find time just to chill and
Yeah.
relax. Even through COVID, like I've just been going and going and going and going.
Yeah.
But this year, I'm kind of like, okay, let's take some scheduled breaks and let's chill and relax. And,
Right.
And do good. So
Yeah.
been trying to do that.
Nice. Very nice.
So yeah, that's what's been going on with me.
Yeah.
The boy child's doing great. He's
Good.
He's turning 15 next week.
God, that's gone so fast, right?
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's weird having a 14, 15-year-old
Yeah.
kid in the house.
Because he came to you when he was 1, right?
1.5, yeah.
Yeah.
18
Yeah.
months, I guess,
Yeah.
technically.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's been 14 years.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's been crazy. It's been a wild ride, man.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. Like he's so cool. I just love him.
Yeah.
He's just awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
so.
he's the best. It's been
He
fun.
really is.
It's been fun watching him grow up,
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Don't tell him, but we're getting him a phone.
Ooh.
I know.
You will never see him again.
I hope not. That's his cue.
Yeah.
Out the door.
Right?
Go free. Call if you need anything.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll get a job.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yep.
We will see. So let's get right into it. I don't think this is going to be a very long show today. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
No.
All right. Yeah.
But let's
some
get
of these
right into
episodes
it.
are shorter. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
We got a couple things to talk about. There just hasn't been a lot going on. I
Yeah.
mean, there's some stuff going on.
Yeah.
But you found a cool Reddit thread that I thought was pretty fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a clip from Dominic Monaghan's and Billy Boyd's podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And PG-13 in the U.S. allows you one swear word per film.
Yeah.
So actually, yeah, let's watch the clip.
All right, hold on a
It's a
second.
fun
Let me
little
pull
clip.
it up.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
Yeah,
see
and
here.
I've seen this like before in memes, like people pitch this, but it's always like I always think it's like a fun little bit. Like, what would be the line that you would change? So,
All right, here we go.
Lord of the Rings trilogy
Yeah.
has a PG-13 rating
Yep.
in the United States.
Yeah.
That means that in each of the movies,
Yep.
you can have one swear word. Where would you put that swear word?
Are you really?
Yeah. For instance, in the Fellowship of the Ring, I could say, fucking Buckleberry Ferry, follow me. And you could get it past the censors. But wouldn't that be brilliant? Because Gandalf could go, fucking fool of a tuck. Do you know what I mean?
Or before, like when I know the skeleton, I could go, oh, I'm really fucking sorry, Gandalf.
Oh, God.
That's
It's the
brilliant.
gift that keeps on giving, right?
Oh, let's look at Return of
Sean
the
Bean in The Mines of Moria. They have a fucking cave troll.
I like that one.
Yeah.
I like the cave troll. That
the
one's my
cave troll
favorite.
one's a really good one.
Yeah.
Do you know do you need a moment to think about the lines? Because I've got one per movie in the trilogy.
Oh, no, I don't have that. I have
Yeah.
one that comes to mind would
Yeah.
be run, you fucking fools.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I would like to put it in more innocuous places, not in really tense moments. Like I'd like to put it at in the party at the beginning of Fellowship. Like I don't know half of you is half as well as I should like,
Yes.
and I like fucking less than half of you as half as well as you deserve. I love that. I'd
it's
like
okay.
that.
It's okay. The
Also,
fucking is gratuitous. It doesn't
Yeah.
really add much to that insult.
yeah. Or the when Gollum is and Sam are arguing about potatoes. Taters, what's fucking taters, precious? So I like it in the more innocuous moments.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
No, I like it when it's
Real tense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when you would really say it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I wouldn't say it about the taters. Would
It
you say
depends.
about the
It depends
taters?
on the person you're talking about. Like I know at least one person who would definitely say that.
Really?
Someone we've both worked with, and that you used to work with
Taters.
at. Actually, his I think his handle is Tater. Actually, what's his face?
Gene?
No. Oh, that's funny. He is too, right? No, but Chris Roth. We're giving him a little shout out today.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was that into taters.
No. I think he would swear in every.
Oh.
He would swear in the most innocuous moments. I wasn't saying about taters. Although
Gotcha.
FM Tater, I think, was his email address or something like that.
It could be. It could be.
Yeah.
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 We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
that makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah, I that's a cool idea. Like I wonder.
Because I've seen people do this with Star Wars all the time.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. What other movie that's out of like the obvious like big franchise, like forget Marvel, forget Star Wars, Star Trek, DC,
Sure.
LOTR, none of those big franchises.
Okay, so like all the movies I would be thinking about right now. Thanks.
What like do you have a movie that you would like to see that in?
That I would like to see it, like opposed to the novelty of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. What could use a little bit? See, I don't know. Sometimes I've like. Well, the problem is PG-13 is already pretty low.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I don't know a lot of movies that are PG that need to be turned up a little bit more.
I'll tell you which one.
What?
The Incredibles.
Really?
Where is my fucking super suit?
Yeah, no, that's a good one. That's a very good one. I did not think of that. I'm a little ashamed that I didn't think of that.
That
one.
would be a great place.
That's a great moment for
That's
it.
a great place for it.
Just for Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes.
No other reason,
Yes.
though.
He's the guy. If
Right.
you're gonna do it, he's the
Yeah.
guy.
I mean, it's honestly a shame that he didn't have any of those in Star Wars. You know?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't use him well.
Yeah.
I'm glad he was in Star Wars. I'm glad
Yeah.
he got to experience that and have that. And
They've
purple-
kind of like in all the side stuff, they've made him a little bit better.
yeah.
But yeah, 'cause
That's true of all the characters. Though.
yeah, that's true. That's
None
true.
of the characters are as good if you don't flesh them out
Right.
on the side stuff.
Right.
That's what really makes them great.
Yeah.
Especially Star Wars. Like Star
Yeah.
Wars is just the best at that, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if anyone else any of those other stories have really had the opportunity to do that outside of the MCU, which is I think one of the real gifts of the MCU.
Well, the MCU has the reverse advantage of like it has all of the side stuff and all the history and stuff like that already built into it, and now they're
Kind
making
of,
the movies
yeah.
out of it. Whereas Star Wars is making the movies and then going back.
That's true.
and-
In a way,
and-
yeah.
and kind of filling it in.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you're right.
There's a reason
yeah.
people are so excited about the MCU or DCU
Right.
is they know those characters.
That's
They're like,
true.
oh my god, I want to see.
Right, Star Wars is all fresh characters, so freshish. Yeah.
Unless it's Skywalker, then it's in everywhere.
Grogu's a fresh character.
Grogu Skywalker is a fresh character. Yes, he's gonna get married to Rey,
Yeah.
and he's gonna take her name.
Yeah.
which she took from the Skywalkers.
I mean, does Grogu even have a well, he does have a last name now, or he's Din Grogu now.
Din Grogu.
Yeah, that's right. Spoilers for anybody who cares.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Right?
That's a big one. Nobody saw that coming.
Right.
So
Nobody saw him getting adopted.
no.
Honestly, I thought he basically was adopted at this point.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
Like when he was
But I guess they
like
just
when he was a
stopped
foundling.
Yeah.
I assumed that that's what that meant.
Right. I guess they just formed. It was just for like that was the court date. You know.
I get like what he was a foster kid, and then
Yeah.
then he adopted him. Would that be the parallel?
I would think so.
That's
yeah.
weird though.
But he kind of sponsored him already. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Yeah. Mandalorians, man. They just make that shit up as they go along.
Clearly, clearly.
Because, I mean, it's only like 20 years, and then all of a sudden they're like, we're no longer taking our helmets off. Like this one group. I mean, granted, it's just one cult, and I guess that is possible within the span of 20 years. It's not that out of the realm of possibility, but it is like.
Look how weird shit got here in 5 years.
Well, it's just funny because the way they talk about it is like, we've never like they talk
We've
about
never
Randall.
done
Yeah,
this.
we've
This
never
is-
come to. We haven't come to Mandalore. We talk about this as ancient legends, and
Yes.
they're hanging out with guys who were there like 3 weeks ago.
Right.
You know.
Right. Yeah. It ain't great.
Yeah, it's a little odd at
ain't
times. Yeah,
They
But-
do their best.
yeah, yeah.
That's the problem with working in that universe of like
if they
you
stay,
keep getting yourself boxed in.
yeah, when they stay so close to the timeline of events, yeah, they get really really boxed in there, and that's why it would be nice to move a little further in the future, move much further in the past. You know, whenever I hear about the High Republic stories, it sounds fascinating. I really like the ideas that of like the little bits and pieces I know, because like there's certain limitations to the technology where they've compared like certain tech that they use is very similar to like the Pony Express in the Old West.
Mm-hmm.
So like that alone creates a little bit of a limitation with, you know, how far and how fast that they go, and I think that's a really cool thing. Like that's one of the weird things with the prequels, like they go back so that the aesthetic is different, but the technology isn't that different. In some ways the technology is a little bit better.
Oh,
you know.
Yeah. That's
And
true.
I think that also though there is a point to that, because Lucas is also talking about sort of the decline of like, you know, of when you have like a fascist empire take over and kind of what happens in the process there.
Yeah.
You know, you got like the Soviets launching monkeys into orbit.
Yeah. And that is the one weird thing. Like you never see like planets that are like coming into interstellar travel. Like
Right.
like that whole galaxy is just like everybody can travel across the galaxy.
Yeah, you maybe like really only so far. There's only been one tribe that doesn't have it, and that's
Yeah.
the Ewoks.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, it would be interesting to see a little bit more of that. I guess even in the Clone Wars, we didn't really come across anyone.
Didn't have
Yeah,
interstellar.
and I guess that's also a consequence of it. Like these are planets that are important enough for there to be battles on. So
That's a good point.
yeah,
Maybe there are planets out there that like they just don't bother with because they're too primitive.
well, I think from
That
what
doesn't make sense
well,
because they
from-
would come and mine them and
Yeah, well, from what I understand with the High Republic, there's a little bit more of that frontiers, like being on the frontier of space is a bigger part of it. So I think there's a little bit of that aspect to the High Republic, because you don't even get that in the Old Republic, which is supposed to be even earlier than the High Republic.
right.
You know, so
right.
I don't know. Maybe it's just because we haven't explored enough. It's funny because I actually logged on to Old Republic
Oh, did you?
the
LOTR?
other day. Yeah, just to kind of like look around a little bit. I wanted to like I just got kind of the urge, like I wanted to play one of the class storylines or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe finish up one of my stories or something like that. So
And how far did you get?
I didn't get far. I had to reinstall like and everything. So that took a little while. I logged in for a second. I looked around. I was trying to figure out like the interface a little bit and like all the stuff that has gone missing and changed in my that particular class, because I was going back to the smuggler. So
Yeah.
so a
I
little bit
wouldn't
more of
even
a
know where to
fragile
begin.
class, you know.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know where to begin. Like I'd have to look up classes and rotations and.
Yeah,
spells.
and I
It's
wasn't
been so
necessarily
long.
trying to get into like looking up all that stuff. I just wanted to see what I could figure out from what was there, you know. But like I have it installed, you know. Maybe I'll log in at some point, you
Yeah.
know. Just you know, fuck around for a little bit.
It's a fun game.
So yeah, exactly.
great game.
I just got the like a feeling like I wanted to see some more of this story.
yeah.
More than anything else. So
Yeah, I get that.
but yeah, so I don't know. I think that'll be fun as it goes on, as they do that. But to go back to your question, I could kind of well, you know, it's funny now. Like I could kind of see like in the Iron Giant, like an F-bomb in there, you know,
Mhm.
like that.
That'd be a good
seems-
movie
yeah,
for it.
right?
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, I just picked the same guy who directed Incredibles, and that's totally by accident. So.
He writes great movies that deserve.
Brad Bird's fucking awesome.
that
I love
deserve-
him.
They deserve some profanity.
Right?
Those movies deserve profanity.
Yeah.
It's good. It's all good, man.
Yeah.
It's all good. I'm trying to think of any other movies that I think would be really fun for that to happen.
Oh, you know what TV show I'd totally take it on?
What?
Totally take it on the A-Team. An F-bomb per episode?
An episode. Wow. TV's different, though. It's not the same rules, though, right?
Right, but that's also TV in the 80s, so it's a little bit different. That shows a very
It's a capsule.
Yeah.
That's a
special
time
show.
capsule.
Yeah.
That's not a show that ages particularly.
But like, I still love it. But no, I know what you mean. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily age well. But like, it'd also be a fun game of like, who gets to say it this episode? Is it going to be Hannibal? Is it going to be Face?
When a fucking plan comes
right?
together.
Exactly. I mean, like, Mr. T seems to be like, B.A. Baracus.
Mr. T should definitely be swearing.
He should get the majority of them. But like,
he instead of being like, I pity the fool, I pity the motherfucker. That's what it should be.
But also like, what's his face? Crazy guy.
Murdoch?
Yeah, Murdoch. Like, he could come out in the left field with one,
Totally.
Never could see Face do it. Face should have the least of them, for sure.
Agreed. Yeah, when he says it,
it should be really, like,
it's like the cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, a two-part episode.
Oh, fuck.
Right?
Tune in next week. Oh, that would be good.
You know who would have been amazing at delivering any swear word?
Who's that?
Adam West.
Mm-hmm.
He would know how to like really indulge in it.
Yeah, Shatner too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you let those guys go.
Yeah.
Any of those like big hammy actors.
Yeah.
Malkovich. I always love it when Malkovich
swears.
yeah,
Malkovich swearing is a gift.
Like he just savors
It's an art.
It's beautiful. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
I love it. I love when he swears.
Yeah. Have we ever heard Billy D. Williams swear?
I can't think of a time where I did.
Yeah.
I can't think of any time.
Yeah.
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 He would be cool.
Yeah.
He would be cool in a Star Wars movie. But
Right.
Yeah.
Or anything.
Yeah. Well, what else has he done?
I've never watched anything else that he's done.
Not a lot. Not a lot. Not a lot.
So.
Colt 45 commercials.
Right.
Those were good.
Yeah.
You drop them in there for sure.
Right.
For sure. Drop an MFer in that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be good.
I'd be down for that.
I wonder how long it's going to be before, like, that goes away. Or do you think it'll ever go away?
What goes away?
The whole ratings, like, swearing and stuff like that.
Oh, I don't think it ever goes away.
You don't think so?
I think even just from the perspective of parents wanting to have a rough idea of what they, like, can consider, like, sure, the guidelines are kind of arbitrary, but they're not necessarily the most effective, but they are roughly effective, I'd say. To say, like, okay, like, this is all right for, a kid of roughly, like, this maturity. Yeah. Even if your kid's age level, because there are plenty of, like, kids who are over 13 who are not mature enough to handle that kind of shit. But then there are also kids who are under 13 who are mature enough to handle it. I think, like, a parent can. It's useful for that.
I like having the guidance. You're right. I like having the ratings and the guidance of, like, hey, like, this kind of gives you a rough idea.
Yeah.
I know from
the artist's perspective, it's so fucking arbitrary. It feels so like, oh, what's the point of this? But, like, I do think from a very practical standpoint, it is useful.
Yeah. Well, PG-13 didn't come in until what, the mid-'80s?
Well, Temple of Doom, I think, was the first PG-13 movie.
Is that true?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure because I think it was created for that movie, if I remember.
Red Dawn, motherfucker.
I am wrong.
Red Dawn. Wolverines.
Or was Red Dawn after?
1984.
All right. I remember reading. I'm sure clearly I'm wrong. Temple of Doom.
Temple of Doom is 1984.
In response to some of the more
PG.
violent films.
It's rated PG.
Right. So what it was the complaints about it. So in response to some of the more violent sequences in the film, and with similar complaints about Gremlins, Spielberg suggested that the Motion Picture Association of America alter its rating system, which did within 2 months of the film release, creating a new PG-13. So it was responsive to Gremlins and Temple of Doom.
And then the first one that got it was Red Dawn afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All great movies.
Right.
I've
never watched Gremlins, actually.
Oh, fun movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice little horror movie.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
It's a fun little horror movie.
yeah. I don't know why I've never come around to that movie.
You haven't watched
Horror has been a big blind spot for me.
for sure.
For sure.
For sure. Yeah, that and movies in general.
Yeah, that's fair.
But within the massive scope of movies,
Yeah.
the lack of horror film
Right.
stuff that you've watched, yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. I used to love horror films.
Yeah.
I was in a horror film phase. Melanie is kind of into it now,
Yeah.
where she's kind of doing that kind of thing. Like, sure, she's watching horror anime a little bit, where it's getting a little like spooky and scary.
Sure.
So she loves it.
Yeah.
She loves it. We were watching Demon Slayer together,
Okay.
which is fun. It's a
Yeah.
fun show. Really cool show.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think horror's kind of a dumb.
Well, it's funny because a lot of directors cut their teeth in horror. It's interesting because I think it's a great place to experiment.
You have a lot of freedom that you don't in other genres.
Yeah.
Where like you can
You
either-
can go wild with it.
You can go really wild with
Yeah.
it, or you can get like really intricate and
cerebral
and intelligent.
Yeah, there's a
about
lot
it,
of
too.
range in horror, I think, is ultimately the case.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can
which
even
is
do
nice.
horror comedy. You
Yeah.
know, so
Yeah, the Scream franchises.
yeah. I mean, one of my currently one of my favorite directors is a horror guy, and that's James Gunn.
Hmm.
You know, so
Yeah.
and I've watched well, you know what? I've never watched. Let's see, what I have watched. Actually, I did watch one of his horror movies. I watched the one with the evil Superman kid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot that was his movie. That was a good
Yeah.
movie. What was
Yeah.
that called? That was it began with a D or something like that.
Yeah, I don't even fucking remember.
Oh, let's look it up.
Yeah. I mean, I know he did he did the Scooby Doo movies,
James Gunn did the Scooby Doo movies.
the live action ones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah. I think that was his sort of breakout. I mean, really, Guardians is his real breakout.
Yeah.
But,
Let's see here.
but
What was that called?
Super was
Belko
also
Experiment.
no. I know maybe he produced it then. The Belko Experiment I wanted to watch. I did not see that though.
Oh yeah, Scooby Doo too. Look at that.
Slither he did. Brightburn he produced it.
Brightburn.
Yeah,
That was the Superman
the Superman kid.
kid.
Yeah,
maybe? Brightburn.
it's under producer. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. I watched Super. I remember that was one with Rainn Wilson as the mentally ill superhero.
I didn't see that. Was
Yeah.
it good?
It's pretty dark. It's good. I think a lot of people, compared it to Kick-Ass, and there's definitely a lot of similarities, but it's a lot darker, I'd say.
Okay.
I think it's underrated.
Okay.
But I wouldn't necessarily say it's amazing either. You
Okay.
know? So
Let me ask you this. Let's get into a debate.
yeah.
If we were in a horror movie,
Mm-hmm.
which one of us would die first?
Oh, me. Not even a question.
Not even a question.
Yeah, I don't think there's even a.
I'm going to counter that argument.
Okay, all right.
I think you have some chances.
I don't know what skills I have that's useful.
Skill really doesn't come into play
Yeah.
in a horror movie. Like in like
I don't know if I'd say
zombie
Of
movies.
a survivor though.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
well, probably neither one of us would be survivors.
I think you have a little bit more edge of survival skills. You at least got Jenny,
Okay, I have
and
Jen.
she's a prepper.
A little bit, yeah,
She's an aspiring prepper.
yeah, a little bit,
Yeah.
a little bit.
I'm
Here's
just
the
saying,
thing,
if you
though.
guys had a little
If
bit of
you
land,
catch
I
me-
wouldn't be surprised if you guys end up having to bunker eventually.
No, so much work, so much work. I would say if you catch me at like 9 o'clock at night,
Yeah.
I've been smoking for a while, I'm gonna be a pretty easy victim. Like somebody comes in and be like, "Hey man, come on in,
Sure,
hang
sure.
out, bro. Got some munchies?
Right.
Let's sit down and hang out and chat."
Whereas
man."
I would avoid contact with any and all people as much as I could.
right.
So I would be I'd be more isolated though.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't really have any allies to help me.
Right.
But
you're also less likely to even
get in a situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
get in any kind of trouble. Like, you're going to be the last one found because you're not, like, out hanging with the boys.
Right.
You're not.
I'm not skinny dipping.
You're not skinny dipping with
Yeah.
the sexy cheerleaders.
I'm not making out in the cemetery.
Right.
I live a very lonely life.
I think you got a good chance.
Yeah.
I think you got a good chance to
The
be the last
problem,
one
but the thing
standing.
is, I wouldn't even be in the movie though.
Well, there's always one, dark-skinned dude that has to get killed.
But see, then I'd be the dark skinned guy. So there's
there is
already
that.
the race.
The dark-skinned thing, yeah.
The
is a
race.
problem.
So if I was
here's
in the movie, I would probably be.
What if the killer's woke? And
Oh.
he's like, oh, dude, no, I can't. Like, you've been oppressed, bro. I'm going to go kill the white
But
guy.
that just means they would kill a white guy first and then me second.
What if I'm the white guy? I'm not saying you're going to live. You're not
They
going to
gotta
live.
go
Addy.
for
You're
someone
dead.
sexy. So you're okay. You're
Sir. Sir.
Yeah.
I'm just fine, thank you.
just fine, not sexy.
Fair enough. Okay. So the other thing could be, like, if it was a cannibal or a zombie,
Okay.
like, just by themselves.
Well, first off, cannibal. I'm obviously right now the bigger appeal because I got more meat. So
I look at that and I go, that's too much.
No,
I
pork
can't
belly.
eat all that.
Would you want pork belly?
I
mean,
got a little bit.
not as much. Like
No, not as much. Agreed.
I
But
got
if
this
I look
lava
at you-
lamp.
I look at you and I'm like, I can't eat that in one sitting. He's gonna go bad before I could eat them all.
Well, yeah, but then at that point, the timing of the kill is irrelevant because I'd still be like unless he's taking the time to refrigerate and and all that, go through the process of curing the meat or whatever, like whether he kills me first or last, it doesn't matter, right?
I guess.
If he's just a cannibal who's out to just kill everyone he can, then the order doesn't I'm the slowest. Most likely.
I get it.
So,
Okay.
I'd be the one to go for.
I'm just saying, like, I don't think you're.
I think I'd be
quite
the
the
most
shoo-in.
likely to be Otis. Like the way Shane when like
Yes. No.
yeah.
100%. I would
Yeah.
notice you.
Yeah, I know. You've said it many times.
100%.
Yeah.
I would notice you.
Yeah.
For sure. And that's
J
the thing.
Mike
Like,
would Otis me as well.
we all would.
Yeah.
Anybody.
I get it. I get
Anybody
it.
would.
Yeah.
Anybody.
That's essentially what you guys did to me when we were trying to get our Horde Slayer titles.
Kinda.
Maybe you didn't always try, but
I
it
didn't-
essentially is what happened.
I mean, we didn't. We tried. We tried.
No, you guys, you and J Mike did eventually try more than others. I will
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah.
I will not indict everyone in that.
We tried.
But there were some people in the group that didn't help.
Okay. I think we did. It's a bummer you didn't get it. I wish that we had the group had stayed together a little longer
Yeah.
so that we could get that title for you.
Right.
But,
Yep.
Hakuna Matata.
Yep. So again, I go.
Yeah, no, you're gonna go. 100%. You're gonna go. That's not the debate. The debate
Right.
is
I think I'd go
you,
first.
Could you outlast me?
I mean, yes, there's always the possibility. I just don't think it's likely.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
And I'm totally okay with that.
No, I'm sure. You've been working out a lot better. You're right now definitely more fit than I am. So
I got that going for me.
yeah,
It's true.
yeah,
So, all right. Well,
Yeah.
It's all good.
yeah.
It's all good. What have you been watching, man?
Well, a couple weeks ago I got to see Return of the Jedi on the big screen.
Oh, I meant to ask you about that last week. How was that?
I adored it. It was actually the special editions, which it's funny. I was hanging out with David Adams, and we've been hardcore anti-special editions, and I still did not enjoy the new number in Jabba's palace. That just when the dude just pops up, starts screaming and singing. It's just it just doesn't.
Ain't great.
That one just does not work.
It's not great.
But it is funny when what's her name, Sty Soodles shows up, and I'm like, oh, that's right, she has a little bit of backstory in the Clone Wars where she she betrayed Zero the Hutt, the effeminate Southern Hutt.
Yes. I do declare.
Yeah, exactly. Uh, so it was kind of funny seeing her there and like knowing that backstory.
Yeah.
It was interesting watching all of it and knowing all these like other moments that kind of connect everything.
Yeah.
In a different way. It felt like the saga felt it was always like I always loved that movie. And sure, it is a very flawed movie. Like, and I will say more flawed than than the average Star Wars. Well, maybe the average Star Wars movie. It's like right in the middle of the road. If I was to be really honest with some of its flaws, but that end is so damn satisfying. It is my favorite duel in the entire saga because maybe next to Yoda versus R2D2, but I mean, like that one carries like the emotion, like thinking of even like what's going to happen eventually in The Last Jedi. I loved it even more because like everything is like he straight up tries to kill the Emperor. He gives into his anger. He tries to kill Vader like twice in that fight. You know, even though he's like, I'm not gonna do it. There's still good in you, but he's like, he nearly kills the guy. So it's like there's the impulsive guy who loves, who still wants to believe these things, but like he does care about his friends. Like the moment his friends are threatened, he's impulsive and gets into action. So like I know not everyone feels that way, but I feel there's no difference between who he is in Return of the Jedi and the Last Jedi. So like all of that context felt really cool. It does feel a little weird and undercut that the Emperor somehow returns from that, but I was like, all right, whatever. I was surprisingly okay with Hayden Christensen Force Ghost though. It was really weird. I think without the Obi-Wan series, I don't know if I would have felt that way.
Oh, really? As late as the Obi-Wan series?
Yeah.
You needed that.
Yeah, because
What was it about the Obi-Wan series that made you feel okay about that?
There was just that little, and maybe Clone Wars. I mean, Clone Wars for sure, I think makes a big difference.
Right.
Clone Wars is the thing that makes the biggest difference for all of it, without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
But there's something about adding a little bit more of who Obi-Wan was to that just. Sure, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. I still kind of like the idea of, was it Sebastian Shaw as the guy who plays the old one? It still kind of makes more sense for him to be the Force Ghost.
Everybody else's Force Ghost looks like
old.
they did when they died.
Yeah, exactly. But like, I don't know. Like, there was something more. Like, it's one of those things where, like, it's about the emotional impact more than it is about the logic of it. And like that's Anakin at the end of the day, like when you think of who Anakin is, that is Hayden Christensen is Anakin, and I think that's why that resonated a little bit more, So, but yeah, I know it doesn't make any real damn sense, but this time I was like, I didn't feel like irked by it, so I don't know. It was weird, but it was so cool seeing it on a big screen because there was a lot of detail I never really noticed before. There was a lot, like, really getting to indulge in like a lot of like just the design of the movie, like, because it's funny because it really does, like, that movie is two movies jammed together. Like, it's the Jabba movie and then it's the all right, here's the rebellion,
Yeah, now we're gonna wrap this thing up.
Exactly, right. And like Jabba's palace is so fun. It's such a cool place. It was like I had so much, like, there's so much fun seeing all the weird details and the creatures in the background, and all the animatronics and all the puppetry, and then on the sail barge the same deal. Like the droid torture room is fucking hilarious. I like that scene. Like that scene always gets me every time that they have. Yeah, oh my god,
It's the best,
right? I mean, I remember that, like, my first viewing, that making me laugh so much. It's so silly. It's so ridiculously silly. And that's the thing. I've always loved the silliness of Star Wars. That's always been a part of Star Wars. Yes, Star Wars has dark moments. I'm never gonna like take that away from it, but it is always gonna be a silly movie. Like you could put a laugh track under a lot of that movie and it would work. You could do the same under Empire, and that's the darkest of the Star Wars movies.
It's true.
Especially with a lot of the stuff with Han and
There's a lot
Leia.
of silly stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a silly.
Almost like 90% of Yoda is that.
It's hilarious. Him
Right?
fighting with R2 is hilarious. Training Luke is hilarious.
Him trolling Luke.
So funny. Pretending he's stupid.
Right?
Oh, so good.
Him just like crawling through for trying to find food. Yeah. So yeah, I loved it, and then of course seeing the big fight scene at the end,
Yeah.
like not just the duel, but the space battle. I
That's
know
where it really shines.
I know people like complain. Like I know Star Wars has a problem of too many Death Stars, but the second Death Star works for me. It's just that third one in Force Awakens that doesn't really work for me. But
One too many.
yeah, that was one too many. But I love the second Death Star. Also, like the whole like, oh, it's not operational, and then like the Emperor pulls that out like this armed and fully operational battle station, and they everyone gets shocked, and like Nien Nunb gets super shocked when they blast one of the frigates and everything.
Yeah.
And like when they try to get like they take the fight closer to the Star Destroyers and all.
right.
Like it's such a like the desperation.
It's intense.
Yeah,
It's intense.
It's like talking like like Lord of the Rings, like Pelennor Fields it has like that same sort of intensity. Like I love like one of those like multi like scene action, like having to cut from different moment to different moment, like, and I, of course, and I love the Andor stuff. I know you're not a fan, but I fucking love it.
Yeah, that's where that movie
I know that
loses me.
loses you, but
Once we get to Endor, that movie,
when you're high, you love it. I know that's for sure.
I'm high. I love everything, man. That's not fair. That's not a fair.
Does that mean your butt boy review needs to be taken in consideration?
Yeah, probably.
Now this is where you finally back off of it. As soon as I bring Return of the Jedi into it,
Probably. I need to watch Butt Boy sober and see if I still think it's as good as I did. It's probably not. It's
Yeah.
probably not. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
I like things when I'm high. What can I say?
Right.
What can I say?
But yeah, I absolutely loved seeing Return of the Jedi on the big screen. So I still haven't seen I haven't seen A New Hope or Empire on the big screen. So those
haven't?
Yeah, I've never seen those on the big screen.
Jesus.
So those two are on the list. So I'm sure. I think AFI shows them like once a year. So I'll probably like make my way down there at some point for one of those. So
Yeah. You
yeah.
definitely need to. Those are both. Empire is so great.
Empire in particular, I gotta see.
So great.
Yeah.
Nah, it's
Well, I mean,
New
and New
Hope
Hope
is
too. And New Hope is
amazeballs.
yeah,
New Hope's amazeballs
Of
on
course.
the big screen.
yeah,
It's so cool. They're both so cool. They're
Yeah.
all cool on the big screen. Like that's where they were made to be watched.
Right.
Like it just
yeah. It's made for that. Yeah.
it's a totally different experience than sitting at home.
Oh, for sure.
It just is.
Yeah.
It just is.
yeah.
It's so good. It's so good. Speaking of Star Wars though, I finished Vision Season 2. You and I started watching it on May the 4th.
Yeah. I was so exhausted.
You were.
I played way too late the night before.
You did.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the first two. I was able to watch all the way through. So
I watched the whole season.
yeah,
It's great.
I gotta watch the whole.
It's
thing.
better than Season 1 in my opinion.
That's what I'm hearing. It's like
I really liked
I
it.
feel it really sounds like a lot of people really stepped it up. That first one has stuck with me. I've thought about that one a lot. Like just the design choices in that was so cool because it's funny because one of the things because I've told you like animation is something I really want to play with more. But there was some when I saw this short film someone like a student did for a class type of thing. That was the moment I was like, oh, animation's something I got to play with. And it was something where he kind of showed like a story about like his family and like the culture and some that kind of thing. It was like he was an Asian student and it was all watercolors.
Okay.
And the animation like flowed with the water of the watercolors.
Uh-huh.
It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I wish I still had that thing bookmarked.
Yeah.
But it was just so damn cool and so inventive but like so appropriate to the story that he told.
Yeah.
So it was like that very painted look was so amazing in that first short.
That animation's beautiful.
I think that was a Spanish studio that did that one.
I didn't pay attention to the studios.
Yeah.
Obviously, I recognized the Aardman one. Like that one was obvious, but the rest of them, they were.
And the little bits I was awake for the Aardman one was fucking hilarious. It was so much fun.
Brilliant. They're all
the Wookiee alone in that one was worth it.
He's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I loved it. I thought it was really cool. All of them I thought were just really well done. That's the type of I wish honestly that's all I want from Star Wars is little things like that for a while.
Yeah.
I don't want the big stuff.
Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah, Tales of the Jedi and Visions right now. If you could just put those out more regularly and more of that kind of stuff to expand the galaxy in different times and places and people.
And I don't need anything to be canon. That's the thing. That's what I love about Visions so much, because it's just, here are these one-off stories. And you know what? It's a perfect pilot. Because if you
there's a lot of characters there that I'd be I actually said I'd kind of like to see more of some of these characters.
Oh, I bet.
And see what happens with some of their stories and stuff. But that being said, if I don't, it's not that big a deal. It's not that big a deal. But there was a lot there where I was man, they've really opened up this universe and made it interesting and something cool.
Right.
Let's see what,
Yeah.
Let's see what else they got.
And without the burden of lore and canon and all of that, you can just this is just some weird place across the galaxy, has no connection to any other story. You don't need stormtroopers, you don't need anything else, but let's just see what you come up with. Let's just go crazy and have fun with this.
Yeah.
And I think that's what comes through. You can really feel when someone's having fun with creating something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you can tell these guys these stories
they love
felt
what they do.
They love what they do.
Yeah.
They put a lot of effort and time and thought into it.
Yeah.
But it was also it was a passion project. It was just there's just a lot of just love and fun poured into it.
Yeah.
And just wanted to tell cool stories and it didn't feel encumbered, like you said, by lore.
Yeah.
We got to paint within these lines.
Right.
Let them explore and be really creative.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's funny because I feel like I felt that with Last Jedi. I definitely didn't feel that in Rise of Skywalker, which is, I think, my biggest problem with that. And to an extent in Force Awakens, you feel that too, because I think Force Awakens felt like we're trying to regain your trust after the prequels.
Honestly, everything after Return of the Jedi has that problem.
You think so?
The prequels for sure, because they're they're constrained in how they've got to get to Darth Vader, and
that's true.
I think that's why some of the those stories didn't land so well, is because they were so constricted in what they had to do that they didn't
there
have
were certain boxes they had to check.
Yeah, that's just not fun.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah. I mean, but I would want them to be able to tell a story like that. I know Lucas had some intention with that. You're right. There are certain problems with the boxes to be checked. I think the bigger issue with the prequels is that he had too many yes men, and so he didn't have enough developed ideas. They were too early of a draft. He didn't have someone like Gary Kurtz and his wife saying, "Hey, these ideas don't fully translate. I know they translate in your head, but we need a few more connecting points for this to land for the audience."
Yeah.
And I because I think that because Lucas needs that also when he's working with Spielberg in Indiana Jones, because there's certain things that Spielberg, I remember reading he pushed back on that, this made that, it's that collaboration. It's why the team aspect of filmmaking is so important. Right. Knowing who can complement you and who doesn't. And I think people kind of sure, you gotta kind of have this one person, and that's the director that it falls on. But there's a lot more to it than just.
You got your director of photography, you got your editor, you got your screenwriters.
Yeah.
They all
have to
make
work
a big
together.
Difference. Yeah, they all have to work together and to come up with something coherent.
Right.
The actors.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, absolutely.
It
all makes a difference.
It's amazing that good film ever gets made.
Right. It's funny, ever since I've kind of watched movies with that mindset of it's a wonder good movies get made, I feel more appreciative of movies in general. And maybe that's lowered my standards, but whatever. I've enjoyed movies
but
more.
You're enjoying
often.
it more, yeah.
Yeah.
And
so
that's
I enjoy that a lot more. So
yeah.
I absolutely adore Visions. I'm glad because last year was the first year, so it almost feels like they might make this a yearly thing.
I hope so.
I hope they continue
so.
with that.
Yeah.
I hope Tales of the Jedi they do that too.
Yeah.
Because that was another one, and I hope that we go like. I'm glad I was okay. I was really happy that we got some Count Dooku stories on that one.
Okay.
I enjoyed the Ahsoka stories, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't mind if we move. Let's see some other characters, you know.
Yeah. I mean,
Let's get some High Republic characters in there, you know.
yeah, let's get anybody else in there. At this
Yeah.
point. Anybody else from any other time.
Right.
Let's do something that we haven't heard of. I don't want to see. Honestly, I don't want to see Darth Bane. I don't want to see I
Yeah.
don't want to see names I already know.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
I have a feeling Tales of the Jedi will be familiar characters, just more
I suspect.
expanded. But yeah, I think Visions is where you're going to get that itch scratched. So,
Yeah, and I did. I totally
Yeah.
did. So it was good.
yeah.
Speaking of getting itches scratched and wrapping up trilogies and
Dude, I loved it.
Guardians 3.
Guardians 3. I want to see it again.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll go with you because I was supposed to go Thursday night.
Right.
Ended up having to go, not having to, but choosing to
Yeah,
go
I know. Well,
to.
you had a pretty fun thing to do with.
I did.
Yeah.
Jenny's coaching gymnastics, and so
Yeah.
they were doing her home show
Yeah.
for the kids, and so
You
I
were
got
just
to go.
overbooked. That's all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just bad timing on my part because
Yeah.
we had booked to go see Guardians
Yeah.
before I knew Jenny was doing
Right.
that was when their home show was.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to go see it.
Yeah.
with you.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
was it fun?
Yeah. I loved it. I mean, I think James Gunn is such a good director.
Yeah.
I think the thing that I enjoy about him is he knows how to get to the emotion of a story. I think better than a lot of other directors. Like the way I describe this movie is emotionally visceral.
Yeah.
Because God damn it, did I cry a lot during this movie?
Hilarious.
Yeah, there was a lot of like, oh my God, I just got, just
You're
like
getting a little weepy.
yeah. Then no surprise at some of them, and there's a decision that I think that you would be surprised that I was really happy with, but I was really happy with how they end it overall.
Okay.
Because I think because I think one thing that's really cool about this movie, like, the first movie is definitely about them finding their family, and with Peter Quill specifically, it has a lot to do with his unresolved trauma with his mother, right? And then the second movie has a lot more to do with them, like, sort of like, accepting that they're a family and accepting who is a part of their family that, and as opposed to their idealized sense of what a family is. And a lot of that is like centered around ego and Peter Quill's father, essentially, right? Whereas like the third movie is about coming to terms with who you are and accepting each member of the family kind of where they are. And it's really cool. Like everyone has sort of a really cool arc that comes to an interesting end. And I was just happy with it. Like it was I don't think it was as funny as the other two.
Mm-hmm.
It was funny for sure. Like
Yeah.
there was plenty of scenes I laughed at. Drax in particular, I think was hilarious in this movie. But I there's I would also say the soundtracks I liked better in the first two. This one's good too, but the first two resonate a little bit better for me.
Okay.
But man, like the just there was something emotionally raw about this, and I liked the themes of it, and I like where they kind of came down on it. So I definitely see this again. I think the Guardians movies have always been my favorite in the MCU, and I'd be willing to say that this might be the best of all three of them. Maybe
That's high
just
praise coming from you because I know how highly you think of those films, the other two.
Oh yeah,
already.
I absolutely love them. I didn't rewatch the other two going into this. I just wanted to like go and see how much I remembered and everything.
Right.
But yeah, like I thought it was fantastic. I think it makes some decisions that like a lot of the decisions that I think certain people, like a lot of people would want, it doesn't make, and I enjoy that.
Good.
Like I'm glad, like, and it didn't feel cheap in my opinion. There might be one scene you could say is cheap, but I didn't think it was. You also see a little bit more of like James Gunn's horror side coming into play with some of the design, which was really interesting. Like it really felt like the most James Gunn of the 3 Guardians movies. So I thought that was really cool too. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens to that franchise after this at this point. But at the very least, the way Gunn ended it, fantastic. This is a good tight story, and I personally think the best of the MCU.
Nice.
So yeah,
Nice. I like it.
yeah,
Speaking of good soundtracks,
yeah.
Yellow Jackets.
Oh yeah. So is it like Guardians where it has like, or is it just like?
It's a lot of 90s
Okay.
soundtrack because the half of the story takes place in the 90s.
Right. So it's a pop soundtrack type of thing. I mean, a mix of like
It's
orchestral,
like a lot of
but
no, it's like pop, grunge, rock,
right.
cool. Just
Yeah,
a lot of
pop
cool
is the
songs.
wrong word, but I mean, like it takes
It's
from
not,
like
you're not getting
previous-
Christina Aguilera. You know?
Right. I meant more like it's not really
Yes.
like all about an orchestral soundtrack.
No
it's
orchestral.
taking familiar music.
It's taking
yeah.
familiar music, or like reworkings of familiar.
Yeah,
music.
I forget what they call those kind of
Yeah.
soundtracks. But
Oh,
yeah,
it's freaking great.
yeah,
And holy smokes, bro, you have got to see the show. Like twists
yeah,
that you just don't see coming.
yeah.
Yeah. Like we watched an episode last night of season 2. So last night, 2 nights ago.
Mhm.
And the very last scene at the end, like Jenny and I were just like, what? What did you just see that?
Yeah.
Like, holy crap. Like it's the most fun I've had watching a show since Lost.
Yeah.
It's so twisty.
Wow, that's high
and
praise.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love this show. It's
Yeah.
so good. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for you to watch this show.
Okay. All right.
It's
I'll
so
get on
good.
it soon. I'm almost done with Succession.
Yeah.
I want to get to Barry real soon as well.
Oh yeah, I got to get to that too.
But yeah.
Yeah, I got to get to that. I haven't gotten to that.
Yeah.
So,
So yep, I got to get to that one soon.
Yep.
I'll get to it very soon. I'm
Yep.
sure. So
me too. So
Yeah.
that's what I've been doing. That's what
Yeah.
I watched. You watched a lot more than I did.
yeah. Well, this is
Well, it's
granted
through 2
scattered
weeks,
over.
yeah, over a couple weeks.
yeah.
So, cool beans, man.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
I think that's it too.
Yeah. So subscribe, like this video. Really appreciate it. Don't
Yeah.
forget to rate and review and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes or on Spotify. But also just subscribe here on YouTube. We'd really appreciate that. That goes a long way for us. So
Indeed, it
yeah.
does.
And what goes an even longer way, well, not Blue Chew, even though we'd like to have that ad, but is sharing this with a friend and family member
Yep.
or people that you just generally know, or maybe you don't know them. Just share it.
Yep.
See what happens.
Yep.
You know?
How could
What
they
could
not
go
like that?
wrong?
It's not a judgment on you. It's a judgment on us if they don't like it. Not you.
Exactly.
You're fine.
It's
You're
a judgment
doing
a
great.
little bit on you that you enjoy this kind of stuff, but
A little
yeah.
bit, but you can pawn it off and be like, well, that was just an off episode.
Right. Exactly. And then they could listen to all the other off episodes to see if they like us or
Yeah,
not. Yeah.
exactly. Eventually they'll come around. They
Yeah.
always do.
They do.
All right,
It's like an arranged marriage of a show.
all right, let's wrap this up.
Yep. So
I'm Ben Milton.
I'm Addy Thomas.
We are Batty.
We are one.